Justin, I want to tell you about one of the weirdest games I've played in a long time, which is saying something because games are getting weird, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird games.
It's not just Pac-Man anymore.
They're not just Pac-Man anymore.
This is the Tomorrow Children, the beta from Q Games. You might know them from the Pixel Junk series. They ran a very brief closed beta test for press to hop into, and it gave me an opportunity to check it out. And what I saw in there was pretty bizarre and also very neat. You can see just looking at this little girl using a pickaxe to chop a square into a thing that it might seem kind of Minecrafty a little bit.
It's Minecraft. Nice job, guys.
No, it wicked isn't. It's less. I mean, there are some Minecrafty elements, but it's more about existing in this apocalyptic, destroyed world where two political ideologies are at war.
Okay.
A secret war of political ideologies.
I mean, I'm into it so far.
So what you saw there was just a tutorial of me learning how to go into islands and search for salvage, which you are tasked with doing so that you can rebuild towns. This here's a town, and I'm going to go to the Ministry of Labor, just check in and report all my good work. So there is this... There's this one political structure where you are rewarded for your labor, and it's very, very rigid. You have to stand in line if you want to do anything in this one sort of political structure. So you do work, and then you report all your work in your worksheet, and you get ration coupons, which you can then use.
Can you cut line?
You cannot cut line. There is a way of reporting people who break the rules. I don't know if like cutting a line is a superpower. Maybe you get later.
Maybe you do with microtransactions. Pay 99 cents.
Well, it's funny you say that because there are ways to break the rules using the game's more democratic structure. In which you find freeman dollars, and you can spend those without having to wait in line. You can buy stuff anytime you want, but it is frowned upon by this other class structure. There's also sort of a caste system in this structure. You can be either a proletariat or a bourgeoisie or a resident of these towns, which means you get to own a house in that town. It means you get to vote in elections. It's bananas. But you can see you.
I don't understand what's happening, Griffin.
All right, so here's the basic loop of the game. There are islands that pop up in this giant void. And you can take the bus to those islands, like I just did. And you want to go inside and explore and find resources. And then you want to bring them back to your town, because then you can use those resources to build better stuff for your town and expand it. You can find, I'm going to butcher this, Matryoshka dolls. The stacking dolls, those are the residents of your town. You have to actually rescue them from these islands and carry them back to the town very, very carefully because they're very, very fragile, and that's how you expand the population of the town. So the whole time you're going out there and you are being, you're just trying to do good work to improve your town. And for that, you get experience points for the Ministry of Labor you can use to level up and gain different stat points that increases like how quickly you can move around the world or how quickly you can excavate things. And you also get paid communist money, essentially. But then you also have this like liberated form of currency that you can also spend if you don't want to wait in line for stuff. You kind of have to play both sides a little bit because there's like unique unlocks for each.
Does every character look like you do here? Or
yes, you look. You are this projection and this holographic projection. This is a slide puzzle. More on that later. You are this holographic projection, and you can change your clothes. And there's like a ton of different outfits, and the outfits give you different stat boosts. But one thing about being a holographic projection is you can't exist in the darkness. So when you're out in those islands, you have to always have a light source around you, or else you'll die. So you saw me use the crafting station, which you also have to wait in line for, because I want to build this propaganda sign. I don't know what it's doing, but it was the only thing I could build right now. And in order to do that, and this is my least favorite thing about this game, which I think is very cool, and I definitely want to play more of it, is you have to do a slide puzzle. And slide puzzles were put on Earth by the devil to test us.
That's right.
I hate slide puzzles with every facet of my being. Every time they do one on Survivor, I have a little panic attack. Here's
the secret to slide puzzles. They're not puzzles. Everyone is just moving the things around until it's done. That's it.
That one was a fairly easy one because I was building a pretty easy structure. But you have this pressure of just like, you have a time limit, first of all. Every like thing that people can interact with has a time limit on it, and that keeps you from just like camping out on it and holding up the line forever. That was a guy who was, oh yeah, there's Godzilla monsters. That guy was hooking me up with a radio. I can use that radio at any time to order supplies from the Freeman. So yeah, there are kaiju in the game. And you can use weapons to take them down. It's very hard to take them down. Usually you need a few folks helping you out. And when you bring them down, they turn into new islands for you to go explore. There's some combat in the game that you can use, like crafting tools. Like I have a chainsaw I was using to chop down some trees. I use it to just kill those guys, get some drops from them.
Griffin, I'm trying really hard to wrap my mind around this game. So my question to you is this: does this game like hold together? Like does it build this stuff at a pace in which it makes sense? Because
no,
right now it seems like absolute madness.
All right, I'm pretty sure that the final version will have a more cohesive tutorial. But first of all, check out all this dope ass work I did. I'm hoping it has a more cohesive tutorial because it gives you just the bare bones basics and then throws you into a town. One of the things you can craft in towns is a tutorial station that will give new players like information on how things work in the game. And so you just kind of have to stand there and read that for a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's extremely complicated, and I played it for a couple hours and I still am not 100% sure how it works because there's a lot of stuff in the game. Like you can craft these red platforms using spells, and you can find those spells hidden in treasure chests on islands. Each island is kind of random what you'll find in there. And then you can use those to cross from island to island because if you just step into the void, you sink into it like quicksand. If you don't want to wait on the bus, you can build these bridges, or you can get a cool platform to kill kaiju from. Yeah, like I totally get what you're saying. It is complicated. And
it's not just like complicated. It's like it doesn't make like I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around it. Just like from an aesthetics and mechanics point of view, like I don't understand how all these things interlock.
At its very core, it's a game about improving your town. You can see I've got a little meter there at the top of the screen showing how this town is improving. There's a subway system in the game. You can hop between any town at will.
Is it a shared thing? Do you
yes,
have your
it's
own?
A shared thing. I'm not 100% sure if you can like have your own thing. There's ways of like finding towns that are active or towns that have become ghost towns. People will just like desert your town if monsters attack it and you don't defend it and all the residents die. So yeah, you can go to any one of those towns and start helping them out, or you can just have a town that you and your friends hang around in. So ultimately, it's a game about like going to these islands and scavenging them. This is really cool. Like I just watched these guys kill this big kaiju, and then I ran out to it and just like started mining it for resources. It's a really neat effect that like things that were destroying your town can all of a sudden become resources for it.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, but ultimately it's about improving your town and improving your character. Either their like ranking, you have a ranking based on how much work you do, or like improving their statistics or whatever. It is a lot to sort of comprehend, but like what the most striking thing, I mean, there's a lot of really, really neat ideas, but the idea of existing in this really, really rigid, immutable class structure where you have to like wait in line, it's the whole idea and the whole aesthetic behind it is like unlike anything I've seen before. So this town was getting attacked by, they're called Isverg, the big monsters that were attacking the town. So I tried to build a turret and it gave me a 16-piece slide puzzle.
No.
It took me like 3 minutes to solve it.
Yeah, it should be a form of like their punishment.
So
right?
you can see down there at the bottom left, I can quick solve it spending my valuable Freeman dollars. I fast forwarded.
Thank you.
So instead of like buying a dope ass shotgun or rocket launcher later on, you can skip a slide puzzle.
The best mechanics are the ones that you'd pay to not have to do. That's the most fun thing in games.
I'm hoping maybe they add some more puzzle variety into the mix because it's a neat game. Boy, I hate slide puzzles though. But I did that and I built a little turret and then I used it to take down some big bad monsters that were attacking my town. It's definitely a different sort of take on the like collecting, crafting loop. And I'm pretty sure that this is like, again, I didn't play a whole heck of a lot of it because there were pretty limited windows on what you could play. So yeah, it's got a bunch of really, really interesting ideas. And I'm curious to see like how fully fleshed out they are in the full game, and really like how how much like teamwork, multiplayer stuff I can do with my friends at the end of the day.
It looks neat. I'm eager to I guess, play it. You play it, right?
You play it, yeah, and you climb up big statue noses. If
Sure.
that's like your fetish or whatever.
No, it's my thing.